Before he ever stepped foot into a boardroom, before his name was etched into hip-hop history, and long before he earned the title of billionaire, Jay-Z was just another kid navigating the unforgiving streets of Brooklyn's Marcy Projects. But what came next wasn't just a rags-to-riches tale. It was a cultural revolution. This is the story of a man who didn't just climb the ladder, he built his own. From gritty street corners to glass-walled mansions, Jay-Z crafted a life drenched in wealth, strategy, and a style that no one else could replicate. With a staggering net worth of over $2.5 billion, his empire stretches across music, tech, real estate, art, alcohol, and more. He's not just rich, he's iconic. But the true depth of his power lies not in the money itself, but in how he moves. In this video, we're stepping inside the ultra-exclusive world of Jay-Z, a man who redefined what it means to live like a mogul. From rare art pieces to cars that cost more than condos, and mansions where every inch screams power, you're about to see what life really looks like at the top. But more importantly, you'll learn how he got there, and why his every move still leaves the world watching. Because when it comes to Jay-Z, the story isn't just about success, it's about building a legacy that money alone can't buy. But how did it all begin? Before he became the CEO of a billion-dollar lifestyle, Jay-Z was a hustler in every sense of the word, not just in the streets but in business too. His first fortune didn't come from a boardroom or a startup pitch, it came through music. Owning his entire music catalog outright, Jay-Z turned songs into streams of income, pulling in over $5 million annually. Albums like Reasonable Doubt alone still rake in six figures every year. But that was just the beginning. His tours became cash factories, with his 444 tour alone bringing in nearly $49 million across just 32 shows. Then came the power move, joining forces with Beyoncé. Their On the Run tour series shattered records, grossing a combined $364 million, cementing their place as music's ultimate power couple. But Jay-Z's genius lies in what he did outside the music studio. In 2014, he bought the luxury champagne brand Ace of Spades, and sold half of it to LVMH in 2021 for a jaw-dropping $640 million valuation, pocketing around $300 million while still retaining a $310 million stake. But he wasn't done. He also co-founded Douce Cognac, selling a majority stake to Bacardi for $750 million while keeping $100 million worth in ownership. Just those two liquor deals alone added nearly $500 million to his net worth. Then there's Roc Nation, the entertainment company he founded in 2008 that manages artists, athletes, and even produced the Super Bowl halftime show. Roc Nation is now valued at $75 million and counting. And let's not forget Ty Doll. He bought it for $56 million and flipped it to Square Now Block Inc. for $297 million in 2021, netting another $149 million in cash and stock. But here's the real kicker. Jay-Z was an early investor in Uber through his firm Marcy Venture Partners. His $2 million investment is now worth around $70 million, and his portfolio includes other fintech startups like Block, with his total cash and investment assets sitting near $200 million. His empire isn't made of bricks, it's built on moves, timing, and the kind of business instincts most people can't even fake. And as we peel back the next layer of Jay-Z's world, we find that his empire isn't just rich in dollars, it's dripping in square footage. When it comes to real estate, Jay-Z and Beyoncé don't just buy homes, they collect monuments. Each property in their portfolio isn't just a place to live, it's a statement, a power play, and an investment that redefines luxury. One of their most iconic purchases, the Pond House in East Hampton, New York, originally listed for $39.5 million, it sat on the market for nearly a decade, until the Carters swooped in and negotiated the price down to $25.9 million. That alone saved them almost $14 million. But it's not just the discount that makes this property legendary. The estate was literally rotated 90 degrees by master builder Jeffrey Call to maximize the view of Georgia Pond. That bold architectural move gave the home unmatched sunset vistas, turning a historic Beaux-Arts-style mansion into a modern-day sanctuary. With 12,000 square feet, 7 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms, and an adjoining guest house, it offers both extravagance and function, ideal for their 3 children. Blue ivy roomy and sur oak paneling, a marble fireplace and a hand-carved marble bathtub are just the beginning. And yet the real flex. The estate borders a 17-acre nature reserve, offering seclusion money can't usually buy. But that's just the East Coast. On the other side of the country, the couple owns a sprawling Bel Air mansion, purchased in 2017 for $88 million, one of the most expensive residential transactions in Los Angeles history. This ultra-modern fortress includes 6 separate structures and nearly 30,000 square feet of sleek design, bulletproof glass, an infinity pool, a 15-car garage, a regulation-size soccer field, staff quarters, a gym, spa, recording studio, home theater, all surrounded by iron gates and security tech that rivals government buildings. And just when it seemed they couldn't top themselves, Beyoncé and Jay-Z made history again in 2023. They purchased a $200 million mansion in Malibu's Billionaire's Row, the most expensive home ever sold in California. Originally listed at $295 million, they scored a deal that still broke records. Designed by Japanese minimalist architect Tadao Ando, this 30,000 square foot estate is a concrete, glass and serenity-filled retreat overlooking the Pacific, complete with a cliffside infinity pool, wine cellar, cinema, fitness center, smart home tech, and a polished concrete motor court built to house a fleet of luxury cars. This property is more than a home, it's an architectural trophy. In real estate, Jay-Z plays the long game, one where privacy, exclusivity and equity all align. But what's parked outside these estates might just be more jaw-dropping than the mansions themselves. For most people, a car is transportation. For Jay-Z and Beyoncé, it's an expression of power, heritage, and status on wheels. Their collection is more than just fast and flashy. It's a museum of automotive excellence, curated with intention. Let's start with a piece of Americana. The 1957 Chevrolet Corvette C1. Painted in a head-turning red and white, this retro classic is a nod to vintage muscle and old-school glamour. With a naturally aspirated V8 engine, delivering 230 horsepower and a sleek rear-wheel drive, it's a car that turns every drive into a performance. Back in its day, this Corvette cost just $3,000. Now, it fetches over $100,000 at auction. A collector's dream. But the collection doesn't stop in America. The Carter garage also includes an Alfa Romeo Spider, an Italian icon made famous in the film The Graduate. With its graceful curves, wood grain trim, and leather interior, this car adds European finesse to their collection. And then there's the gifts, because in the Carter household, birthdays mean horsepower. For Beyoncé's special day, Jay-Z surprised her with a $1 million Rolls-Royce Silver Cloud. Only 2,716 of these were ever made. It's not just a car, it's a piece of art, with walnut wood finishes, plush leather seats, and a ride so smooth it feels like floating. But Beyoncé wasn't going to be outdone. On Jay-Z's 41st birthday, she returned the gesture with a $2 million Bugatti Veyron Grand Sport, a hypercar that boasts over 1,000 horsepower and a top speed north of 250 miles per hour. This car isn't just fast, it's one of the fastest and most expensive vehicles ever made. With a carbon fiber body and a W16 engine that screams exclusivity. And of course, these aren't their only vehicles. Their garage is said to house other luxury rides. Bentleys, Maybachs, Ferraris, the usual suspects for anyone playing in the Billionaire League. But what makes their collection stand out isn't just the price tags. It's how each car reflects a moment, a milestone or a memory in their life. A Corvette for the culture, a Rolls for romance, a Bugatti for boldness. Each one tells a story, and just when you think they've hit the limit on land, they take their lifestyle even higher, literally. When your lifestyle is measured in millions and your time is more valuable than gold, flying commercial simply isn't an option. That's why Beyoncé once gifted Jay-Z something that most people only dream about, a private jet. But not just any jet. This is the Bombardier Challenger 850. one of the most luxurious mid-size executive aircrafts in the world. It's capable of flying from Europe to Asia without stopping, with a cabin spacious enough to seat 19 passengers in comfort. But Beyoncé didn't stop at the purchase. She reportedly poured in an additional $40 million to fully customize the aircraft for Jay-Z's taste. Inside, the jet feels less like a plane and more like a flying penthouse. Plush leather seating, multiple living spaces, a full kitchen, and a private bedroom transform every journey into a first-class retreat. It's not just transportation, it's their airborne sanctuary. But when the Carters aren't in the sky, they're cruising across oceans in style. In 2020, they took their family to Croatia, but not aboard any ordinary yacht. They chartered the Lana, a 350-foot floating palace designed for royalty. With 8 staterooms, room for 12 guests, and a 30-foot heated swimming pool, it's a mobile mansion on water, complete with a Turkish bath, a private cinema, a spa, and even a helipad. This super yacht doesn't just redefine luxury, it obliterates it. And for 1 week of sailing in total seclusion, the price tag, $2 million. But for Jay-Z and Beyoncé, it's not just about extravagance, it's about freedom. These aren't just luxury toys, they're strategic tools to escape the noise, maintain privacy, and live life on their own terms. From the clouds to the coastlines, the Carters travel in a way that few can imagine, and even fewer can afford. But while their jets and yachts might steal headlines, it's what Jay-Z wears on his wrist that truly tells time in billions. For Jay-Z, luxury isn't just about what you own, it's about what it says. And few things speak louder than a $5 million watch. That's exactly what Beyoncé gifted him for his 43rd birthday, a diamond-encrusted Hublot Big Bang, dripping with ice and exclusivity. But that's just the crown jewel in a collection that rivals the inventory of a high-end auction house. Jay-Z's wrists have been graced by some of the rarest timepieces ever made. Take the Cartier Crash Skeleton, known for its distorted shape and open-work design, valued at $160,000, or the sleek Patek Philippe Aquanaut chronograph, worth $200,000. But these are just appetizers in Jay-Z's horological feast. He also owns the ultra-rare Patek Philippe Grandmaster Chime, 2 dials, a hand-stitched alligator leather strap, and a price tag of $2.2 million. And then there's Richard Mille, the holy grail of watches for the ultra-rich. One model in Jay-Z's possession, the Tourbillon Split Seconds chronograph, is valued at $2.5 million. Another made entirely of green sapphire, reportedly clocks in at an insane $3 million. Each watch isn't just a flex, it's a masterpiece of craftsmanship, a statement of timeless status. But his obsession with beauty doesn't stop at his wrist. Jay-Z is also a massive contemporary art collector, with a portfolio that includes iconic works by Jean-Michel Basquiat. One piece, equals Pi, was purchased for $253,000. Another, titled Mecca, reportedly cost him $4.5 million. Altogether, his art collection is worth an estimated $70 million. These aren't just paintings hanging in hallways, they're financial assets, cultural statements, and legacy pieces. But perhaps the most jaw-dropping gift of all, a private island in the Florida Keys, which Jay-Z reportedly gave to Beyoncé for her birthday. Price tag $20 million. That's not a vacation spot, that's a generational asset. Between the watches, art, diamonds, and islands, Jay-Z and Beyoncé don't just collect things, they collect symbols of power. And through it all, their most valuable asset has never been a possession, it's each other. Behind every billion-dollar empire is a foundation. And for Jay-Z, that foundation is Beyoncé. Their love story didn't start on red carpets or in front of flashing cameras. It began quietly, away from the spotlight, rooted in respect and built in secrecy. Their first musical spark ignited in 2002 with 03, Bonnie and Clyde, a sultry duet that whispered of chemistry. But they never confirmed the romance. Then came Crazy in Love, a track that didn't just dominate charts, it revealed something deeper. Still, they kept the world guessing. For years they dated under the radar, never confirming what millions were already suspecting. Then on April 4, 2008, they shocked everyone, not with a press release but with silence. They got married in a secret ceremony inside Jay-Z's Tribeca penthouse. No public vows, no celebrity circus, Just two global icons pledging their lives to one another in private. Beyoncé's $5 million, Lorraine Schwartz's diamond wedding ring wasn't revealed until months later. But even with all the secrecy, one thing was clear: they were building more than just a relationship, they were building a brand. In 2012, that brand grew with the birth of Blue Ivy Carter. Jay-Z immortalized the moment in Glory, a heartfelt track that included his newborn daughter's heartbeat, making her the youngest person ever to appear on a Billboard chart. Then in 2017, the family expanded again when Beyoncé gave birth to twins, Rumi and Sir. As always, they kept the details private, shielding their children from the chaos of fame. Together, Jay-Z and Beyoncé have mastered the balance of power and privacy. Interviews are rare. Oversharing is non-existent. What they have is sacred, and that's intentional. Beyoncé once said that guarding their love has made it stronger. Jay-Z echoed the sentiment, telling People magazine that they don't play around with their marriage. They know what's at stake. Together they've weathered storms, conquered industries, and created a life that transcends headlines. It's more than romance, it's legacy in motion. And speaking of legacy, Jay-Z's next chapter is not just about living in luxury, it's about leaving a mark. Jay-Z's empire isn't just built on wealth, it's carved into culture. Long after the applause fades and the champagne stops flowing, what remains is a legacy few can rival. He didn't just succeed in hip-hop, he reshaped it. From the moment Reasonable Doubt dropped in 1996, it was clear he wasn't here to play the game, he was here to own it. Each album that followed sharpened his message, merging street wisdom with business acumen. By 2009, the Blueprint 3 shattered records, helping him surpass Elvis Presley for the most #1 albums by a solo artist. In the 2010s, Jay-Z evolved again. No longer just the voice of the streets, he became a philosopher of power. Albums like Magna Carta, Holy Grail and 444 unpack topics that were once taboo in rap: generational wealth, therapy, infidelity, and the trauma of being a black man in America. He rapped about collecting art like stocks, teaching his kids about equity, and building a legacy beyond music. In 2021, he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, not just as an artist but as a cultural architect. And even now, decades into his career, he's still relevant. Grammy-winning collaborations with Kanye West and Drake prove he hasn't lost a step. But more importantly, he's never stopped evolving. Jay-Z's influence seeps into every corner of the industry. He turned being a mogul into a new form of artistry, one where ownership is the ultimate flex. And beyond the charts and brands, his most lasting imprint might be the example he sets. A man who rose from poverty without compromise. A black billionaire who speaks openly about therapy, legacy, and love. A father who turned generational trauma into generational wealth. Jay-Z didn't just break into the world of the rich, he brought his people with him. His story is more than success, it's proof that reinvention is power. And while his name will be etched in the halls of music and business history, his greatest masterpiece might just be what he's built behind the scenes. Because for Jay-Z, luxury is temporary, but legacy is forever. And if you think this story is over, you haven't been paying attention. Jay-Z's life isn't just an inspiration, it's a blueprint, a step-by-step guide on how to build something eternal out of absolutely nothing. From the concrete corners of the Marcy Projects to the glass towers of Malibu, he didn't just chase wealth, he architected it. But it wasn't luck. It was vision, execution, and relentless evolution. He started with rhymes and rhythms, turned them into royalties and tours, and then flipped that into brands, tech, and investments that multiplied quietly behind the scenes. He never relied on one lane. Instead, he created his own highway, one that runs through music, fashion, real estate, spirits, sports, art, and tech. He didn't just take a seat at the table, he bought the table, then built another one. Jay-Z is the embodiment of ownership, the gold standard of how far creativity can go when paired with strategy. But beyond the dollars, cars, jets, and watches, beyond the headlines and history, what he's really built is something few ever achieve: control. Control over his image, his income, his message, and his legacy. And through it all, he's never forgotten his roots. He wears his past like armor, and carries his family like a crown. In a world where fame often fades and fortunes rise and fall, Jay-Z has done the unthinkable. He stayed on top while lifting others with him. That's not just success, that's immortality. So the next time you hear a bar from Hov, or see a new move from the Carter Empire, remember, it's not just about the lifestyle, it's about the lesson. Because if Jay-Z proved anything, it's that the real flex is building something that lasts. And that's the billionaire blueprint.